DG NCB has spoken to CNN News18. They're going on to say that we are shortly going to come up with the final report on the vigilance inquiry on Samir Wankhede, which is the big question now. Initial investigation has found many flaws in the manner in which Samir Wankhede handled the case. They're also saying that vigilance team is also probing a corruption angle, and the details will shortly come out in a report. For more on that, I'm going across to my colleague Ashish, because Ashish, this is now the big, the big issue that everybody is waiting for clarity on this, on what happens to the vigilance inquiry.
Well, as I said, that the vigilance inquiry is going to actually give absolute details on how he, Samir Wankhede handled the case. Now, having said that, I just spoke to the DG NCB, SN Pradhan. He said very clearly that the report is going to be concluded in a matter of days. So we can expect that vigilance inquiry report to come out shortly. It's probing the corruption angle. I specifically asked him whether there was corruption or not. He said it's too, I will not comment unless the report is out. But it is certainly probing, the vigilance team is certainly probing the corruption angle as well, in case that is found. So there are two angles to it. One mismanaged the case, and then there is malified. So in case it is proved that Samir Wankhede did all this with a malified intention and there is a corruption angle to it, then obviously it will be big trouble for Samir Wankhede, and in fact even he can lose his job. If it comes to only mismanaging the case, or maybe somebody who was not able to handle the case properly, then obviously there could be some sort of punishment to Samir Wankhede, but he will not face the Prevention of Corruption Act. But here, in case the corruption angle is proven, then obviously it will be trouble time for Samir Wankhede.
Okay. Well, that is the next big update that everybody is waiting for. And as one of our guests was also pointing out, what happens to the errant officers, if at all, if they're found guilty as far as this case is concerned. Swapnil Kothari continues to be with us. Swapnil, let me take the question I was taking to S. Balakrishnan earlier. Not the first time that somebody has been arrested under a charge and then later found to be not guilty, right? Investigation agencies will take people into custody or demand arrest to carry out the investigation. I remember very clearly in the case of Aryan also, they said that we need to probe him and we need to have him in custody so that we can build our case. Eventually, they haven't been able to build the case against him, but there is a case against others. It's not like the entire raid was a figment of imagination or something. Having said that, it still looks bad on the NCB, that internally they had officers, allegedly, who were not handling the case properly, or worse, were deliberately targeting certain individuals.
Well, that could be the perception and that could be the presumption, given that the SIT has given a clean sheet. And Mr. Wankhede will have a tough time justifying, his over-enthusiasm. Because when you approach, and this happens only because when there is a celebrity involved, if, more often than not, the investigating agencies are over-enthusiastic about these things, and these things never catch the media attention. But the fact is that when it comes to a celebrity son involved, obviously the media laps onto it, and then this is where the officer has to tread a cautious ground. Even otherwise, he needs to do so, regardless of the fact, because you're dealing with the individual liberty of the person.
Yes.
And, it's your reputation as an investigating agency, as a top investigating agency, because you're a central agency. You need to be treading a cautious ground because you're dealing with individual liberty per se. So whatever it is, whether you're in ED, whether you are NIA, whether you are NCB, whether you are anything whatsoever, you need to tread a cautious ground when you're dealing with draconian legislations like the UAPA or the Narcotics Act or the NDPS Act, where you have those kind of powers under which you have the power to arrest someone only on the basis of a suspicion.
Yes.
Now here, as far as Mr. Khan's case is concerned, it's a separate issue. In the sense that no drugs were found, and on that basis the court gave him bail because he'd already spent 21 days in jail. But the point is, what happens to the rest of the two? Why are they not being spoken about? And if there are charges against those two, how is it that some people are let off? I'm not talking only about Mr. Aryan Khan in particular, because there were 6 people, I think, against whom Mr. Sanjay Singh said that there is no case made out. And how is it that the rest of them are involved? So on what basis, what grounds? That is exactly how the court will need to examine, and that is something which we as a people need to know as to why this sort of 6 people were let off. then it makes sense to lawyers and to every one of us.
Swapnil, we've had the first indication from the agency. Officers who've spoken to us who've indicated that they have applied the dictum of beyond
Natural
reasonable
justice, yes.
doubt.
And beyond reasonable doubt.
Yeah, evidence.
But Shivani, you can't, natural justice, I don't know what are they trying to say. Are they trying to say that they did not give the right of, the opportunity for the person to defend? That's the way we look at natural justice in law. And the second part is, are you trying to tell me that you do not have the powers to arrest on suspicion unless Mr. Singh was not very clear about it? I think what he tried to say, from what I understood, is that you did not have sufficient evidence to
prove the charges against Aryan
suspicion
Khan.
in your mind. To develop a reasonable suspicion in the mind so that to go and arrest X or Y or Z. That is what I think he is trying to say. And that is where the over-enthusiasm counts and matters. And that is where the errant officer, whoever it is, should not be even thinking, he should not be over-enthusiastic, especially when you've got...
See, Swapnil, as I see it, there is a very simple way to put it too. Aryan Khan was on that cruise ship. On that cruise ship, drugs were being consumed or being, given to each other. Whatever said and done, that drug buster is not under question. So in the initial probe, if he was there on the spot, the agency can very much claim we are well within our right to also take him into custody so that we can question him, so that we can, build a case and we can see what all accused are saying. There is another way to look at it, which is what Aryan Khan's side will say, that, he was not found under possession. Why did you have to arrest him? Arrest is too far, too serious a move and can damage the life of a young individual. That's another way to look at it. Now, one second. I'm running out of time. Swapnil, 1 second. Mr. Srivastav, you've claimed some large conspiracy. My question to you is, you've even named the BJP on this show. The same agency, sir, the NCB itself has given Aryan Khan a clean chit, no? So how can you claim that there is a conspiracy going right up to some political party? The parties are the same, the central government is the same, the agency is the same.
From the day one, we are saying that the few officers of NCB is combined with the few BJP leaders of the state, and those people are running a extortion game just to catch hold the innocent people. Now the higher officers of NCB has proved them our charges correct and find what we were saying was the fact.
No, they have not said that. Sir, I keep correcting you. Please, I am requesting you, the charges of corruption or of extortion have not been proved. Please, sir.
Listen, what we were saying from the day one, that the people arrested by the local NCB officers is totally a conspiracy, and these people are innocent, and the NCB officers of the Mumbai region are playing in the hands of the few BJP leaders.
So that's a charge, sir. That's a charge. Even with clean chit to Aryan Khan, that charge has not been proved.
For us, Aryan Khan is not only an issue.
Okay.
Listen, there were 6 innocent people, and we were pleading the same issue for all the people, not only for the Aryan. And we were saying the same thing, that the few NCB officers are playing in the hands of some BJP leader, and both people are running
BJP is not even in power in Maharashtra. The same BJP, if you're leveling charges against the central government, then the same BJP is still in power as Aryan Khan gets a clean chit.
But I am saying the local BJP leaders. I am not saying the central BJP leaders. I am saying the local BJP leaders. And why Mr. Samin Wankhede was posted in Maharashtra? When at the time he was in Delhi, and the short notice he was posted here at the time of Sushant Singh ji issue. Who was the person? Who was the BJP leader who brought him here? Everybody knows it. And since last 5 years,
Sir, hold your thought.